Hey guys, welcome along to a brand new episode. So, legends, welcome along to Here's Rodder's Reviews. I'm your host, Rodney Stewart. We're getting into a classic little movie that I have not seen in absolute years, but I could remember it pretty much 100% from, probably going back towards the mid-80s was the last time I seen it. The very first time I seen it was probably 85. This is from 74, this movie. It's called Watchoutwe'remad, and it stars Bud Spencer and Terrence as a brilliant comedy double act. Now, when you think comedy double act, you automatically think Laurel and Hardy, Abbott and Costello. These guys are not in the same league as those guys, but you know, some of the stuff they pull off in their movies is absolutely hilarious. Watchoutwe'remad is only one of them. I have seen a couple of movies and pieces of their other stuff, and there's a spaghetti western they done. I fell down the rabbit hole after watching this movie of checking out some of their movie fight sequences. That's what they seem to be best known for, or what appealed to me the most anyway, and their movies. And comedy fight sequences, if done right, are absolutely fantastic, and they're brilliant and Watchoutwe'remad. But there's another movie, I can't recall the name of it. It's a spaghetti western, but there's a fight sequence going on, and it's not even what's going on in the foreground in this sequence, but in the background it's like a whole free-for-all, like western style. The whole town is going crazy, and there's these two guys in the background, and this one guy is like really wailing on this other one, and he was just getting into it a little bit too much, and I laughed so hard at that sequence I literally could not breathe. But we're jumping away from Watchoutwe'remad. This movie here, basic premise of this film is Bud Spencer, Terrence Hill play two race car drivers, and they're trying to win a dune buggy in a race at the beginning of the movie. Now, some of the stunts within the race itself is absolutely brilliant, but they're evenly matched as far as driving goes, and they cross the finish line bumper to bumper tie. They're not happy with this, so whenever they skid to a halt, they both jump out of their cars, and then a foot race happens towards this dune buggy, and both of them slap their hands down on the bonnet at the exact same time. So it's declared a tie, and then the competition between the two of them starts. How are we going to decide who gets to keep this dune buggy? So Terrence Hill, again, like Laurel and Hardy, one is a big guy, the other one is like a skinny guy, and Bud Spencer is the big bruiser in this movie. Terrence Hill is the smaller of the two. But Terrence wants to play high card. Whoever gets the highest card gets to keep the buggy. The big guy doesn't want to play that game, but he does want to arm wrestle him for it. But he's huge. He would annihilate him in an arm wrestling match. So they finally hit on the idea of having a beer and a hot dog contest. So off they go to a fairground just beside where Bud Spencer's character lives in the movie, and they go into a restaurant, and the idea is to drink a beer, eat a hot dog, drink a beer, eat a hot dog, and whoever gives up first is the loser, and loses, they have to pay the bill plus lose the buggy. So while they're doing this group of gangsters land into the restaurant and start destroying the place, and turns out there's a mob boss that wants to drive away the customers from this fairground so he can tear it down and build a skyscraper for himself. And it's your typical villain of the 70s and 80s sort of deal. But during all this, the dune buggy gets destroyed by the gangsters. So Terrence Hill, Bud Spencer, go to the big boss man and demand a new dune buggy. If you don't get us this by tomorrow at noon, we're going to get mad. So that starts a war between the gangsters and these two guys, the gangsters, trying to take them out. And there's the following day, instead of the dune buggy turning up, a gang of members on scramblers turn up, and that leads to a fantastic chase on bikes, which leads into a scene between Bud Spencer and Terrence Hill. It leads to a scene with them two, and they're on the bikes, but they're kind of communicating through body language and looks, and that sort of deal. And it kind of harkened back to like the silent comedy days of Laurel and Hardy, and you get that sort of facial expressions and body language sort of deal. So that kind of reminds me of Laurel and Hardy as well. But I'll not destroy the film too much for you. That's the basic premise of it. They want a new dune buggy from these gangsters. The gangsters don't want to get it. They're trying to take them out, and there's a whole back and forth between the gangsters trying to get them with this gang of guys in the motorbikes. They even get a hitman involved at one point to try and take them out, which is just leads into another sequence where I laughed myself senseless again. And the climax of the movie is, you're going to know where it goes, but how it finishes may catch you by surprise. Such a good movie. I may actually fall down the rabbit hole of Bud Spencer and Terrence Hill movies on the channel here. We'll see how it goes. As I say, after watching this movie and the comic fights that's in this one alone, there's like three different fight sequences, and some of the stuff that they do on them is absolutely hilarious. Like, you wouldn't think a comedy fight sequence would be as funny as they actually are until you see it and Watch Out We're Mad and some of those other movies those guys did. Like, the fight sequences are definitely the highlight of the movies. But Watch Out We're Mad is a good time all around. You can actually watch it for free on YouTube right now. So jump into the search bar, check out Watch Out We're Mad 1974. You'll get the whole movie there. It's a good time to be had for an evening. I enjoyed it. And if you're into, don't go on thinking it's going to be as good as Laurel and Hardy or Abbott and Costello and that sort of thing. It's not. But it is a fun time all around, and I think you might enjoy it.